as you can see, I went to a football game. I wasn't planning on uploading any other videos until I had a chance to go on another 20-mile hike so I could collect some more iPhone 7 video, but this time of the 1080p HD with 60 frames per second, and also tape some as well with the 4K, the highest resolution that Apple's got with that 8 million pixels, so that's coming. But I felt compelled after this weekend to upload something that I experienced. We left Pensacola, Florida on Friday morning. Beautiful blue sky day, fall temperatures. Was an amazing weekend, great adventure. So most of the adventure was on highway roads, just driving country roads, about 440-mile round trip from here to Tuscaloosa and back. The only hiking that was done this weekend was about 2.5 miles, and that was just on to the game and back. As you can see, we made it to the game. That video and one that's coming here shortly is taken with the iPhone 7, still at the 30 frames per second, the 1080p, so the other's coming. But this particular weekend, we had a wonderful time just driving the country roads from here to Tuscaloosa and back. Made me think of John Denver, who's one of my favorite songwriters and singers. Of course, he's no longer with us. Died in a plane crash many years ago, but Take Me Home, Country Roads is one of my favorite all-time songs, and when I get out on roads like this, I just can't help but think of it. So I do want to start by saying, if you are one who already enjoys country roads and looking around at things past, especially old things, as you drive through the country, if you've done that already, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, find you a road somewhere near your house on the outskirts of town that takes you out into nowhere, and just drive it. Enjoy it. There's so much that can be seen. It's just a pleasant experience. So anyway, a lot of those miles this weekend. We put in a CD of the band Alabama, which in my opinion is one of the best bands of all time, groups of all time. They're not just all about Southern country, Southern songs and meanings. They write about America. They love America. And one specific song we were listening today is called Born Country, and there's a particular lyric in there in the chorus where he says, "I was born country, and that's what I'll always be, like the rivers and the woodlands, wild and free. I've got 100 years of down home running through my blood. I was born country, and this country's what I love." And I started just thinking about those words as I was driving around. We were going through all kind of central and south Alabama towns, little bitty towns like Atmore, whose motto is old friends and new beginnings, which is kind of some of the things that even are going on in my life right now. But anyway, Atmore, Frisco City, McGargle, Grove Hill, Thomasville, Greensboro, Moundville, Utah, Demopolis. I mean, the names go on and on, these little small towns, and when you get into them, you feel like you step back in time, you know, to the 50s or 60s, which is very interesting. A lot of old buildings. In fact, Demopolis, for example, is a city that was established in 1817, and we saw one hardware store there that had on the side of the building, old brick building, that its doors had been open since 1889. So, just made me kind of reflect on America. America is a great place, and unfortunately we've kind of gone away from community some in our country. So I think maybe when we try these country roads, it kind of takes us back a little bit into how things once was, and gives us an opportunity to reflect on our values, and are we contributing to growing community and closeness with friends, or is it more turning inward to our own goings on? And I just couldn't help but think how those who've gone before us, you know, part of the greatest generation, World War II. My grandfather, for example, he fought for our freedoms. You know, to be born in America, every human that's born in the United States of America had a 1 in 20 chance of being born here. So out of every 20 babies that are born, 19 are born somewhere outside of the United States of America. So it's just a miracle that any of us are here anyway. But those of us who are here, especially the greatest generation and before, knew the value of the freedoms that we had and were willing to give their life for it. My grandfather, who I mentioned, did die at the age of 25 on his very last mission, 1 month before World War II ended. Over Tokyo, he was shot down. He was a B-29 pilot, a pathfinder, which means he went out before the 400 or 500 B-29s that were coming behind him with the bombs, and he would lead the way to the target. He, that night, and 6 or 7 other pathfinders led the whole force, if you will, of 400 or 500 B-29s that went over Tokyo that night. So anyway, he didn't make it. He gave the ultimate price, and I'm thankful. One day I will meet him again, or I will meet him for the first time. But others who are now willing to pay that price, active military, and those who are going to go into the military to defend our freedom. I just want to challenge you to thank them when you have a chance. When you see somebody in uniform, just give it. It means the world to them, and to families who love and support those. It means the world to the families as well. So share a good word with one of them. But Texas A&M is a great example of an institution, a university that has they have a corps of cadets there on the university, and they do a fabulous job. These are folks that are fighting for our country and our freedom, and future people who will be on the front lines. So they do a tremendous job, and they have a band, and they're a very famous band called the Fighting Texas Aggie Band. So that's where I'm going with this, and why I felt compelled to put a video up today was because I felt patriotic. But they brought this to mind this weekend, and they do a great job. You know, I love bands. They don't get the love and the respect that they should get as far as the young men and women who are part of these bands, and they work so hard to produce something on the field. Albeit it's at halftime, a lot of people go get their food and they miss a lot of it, but don't miss it. They really do a great job, especially with the Texas band, with the Fighting Texas Aggie Band. They do a tremendous job. So I love bands. Our band's called the $1 Million Band. I say ours. At the University of Alabama, it's called the $1 Million Band, and they're tremendous in their own right, without a doubt. But today I just wanted to give you the video that I took. And this again is in the 30 frames per second. But anyway, from the upper deck at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, I taped the Fighting Texas Aggie Band, their halftime show, part of the entire halftime show, their part. They do a great job. They're so gracious. I mean, you can hear on the video, they're right up front, they're thanking us, the fans and the people at Alabama, for letting them be there. They're thankful just to be on the field, to be able to come together. And that's what I was talking about when thinking about country roads and old towns and what America used to be. Well, the military folks, the Corps of Cadets, the folks at Texas A&M understand that. They're very community oriented. Tremendous fan base, so passionate, so friendly and kind, and they understand community. So anyway, I just wanted to share what the band does. Tremendous job. Any of you Aggies out there who might be viewing this, thank you for your great attitude as fans. And if any of you happen to be band members, thank you so much for all the effort you put forth to bless us with your talents and with your love of country and your love of all of us, as you're willing to literally put your lives on the line and fight for our freedom. So thank a serviceman or woman that you see. Go to a college football game in your lifetime, don't miss it, and drive a country road. All right, Birdman out.
Ladies and gentlemen, now forming at the north end of the University of Alabama's Bryant-Denny Stadium, the nationally famous Fighting Texas Aggie Band. Step onto the gridiron today, saluting our Crimson Tide fans in appreciation for your hospitality today, sharing this field with the University of Alabama's $1 Million Band. From the North End Band, the Los Angeles counterpart, relay currently front and intricate to the rear movements north and south. The music is the English March, Kentland Hill. From the south 10-yard line, the band returns to regular company front formation. At the south 40, east and west flanking movements, back to company fronts. The music is our glorious national emblem. Gentlemen, the signature of the Texas Aggie Band, the 264-member rock